Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
It's a great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and yes, it is a great day for you to get a mindset for creating wealth. If you want to create wealth and you want to understand how sometimes you can get a power-packed, purposeful message that will help you to create wealth and not kill your own efforts or steal from yourself and stop robbing yourself of lasting wealth, then you want to listen to today's show, because I have as my guest the author of the book, The Hidden Heist, Stop Robbing Yourself of Lasting Wealth, my dear friend, Bill Cates. You're going to want to take notes today because this is going to be a life-changing interview. Well, you know, I have only just a minute. You have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon you, you can't refuse it. You didn't seek it. You didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You must suffer if you lose it. Give account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but your eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you, wherever you are around the world, whether you're listening on the network or whether you're listening on the podcast. We want to help you do more, be more, achieve more, and grow yourself and grow your wealth. I start with that minute, God's minute, and then, you know, I take a moment to give God some glory, to thank him for life and strength and health. I thank him for the opportunity to do what I do, to be on this program for 20 years, and to have had some of the greatest wealth creators, leadership experts, and thought leaders the world has ever seen as my guest. And last but not least, I thank our friends at Truist Bank. 2 great banks came together. BB&T and SunTrust decided to stop competing and start cooperating, and they created a new bank called Truist. And Truist is built on one foundational principle: care. When you start with care, you build a different kind of bank. Truist. Well, as I said, my guest today is my friend. He's like my brother from another mother. We've been friends for over 30 years. He's been on this show before. He's a Hall of Fame speaker. He is one of the top experts in financial in the financial industry in the world. He's known as the referral coach in many circles, but he also is a person who has a great interest in helping people with their wealth journey. And he has written a dynamic new book called The Hidden Heist. Stop robbing yourself of lasting wealth. My guest is the one and only Bill Cates. Bill, good to have you on the show, buddy.
Great to be with you, Willie. And just so people didn't mishear you, it's not Bill Gates. Yeah, I missed it by one letter and a few bucks. But what I like to say is, well, I mean, I had the billions that Mr. Gates has. I help people make more money in the spirit of service to others.
Amen. Well, you do that wonderfully, and you've been doing that. Well, you say you're on a mission to help people educate themselves and make educated financial decisions that are in their best long-term interests. And you've been doing that for over 40 years. You've helped professionals create exponential growth by communicating their value effectively and communicating their best ways to help their clients through relationship marketing. You're the author of 7 books, and you have, as I said, been inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame. And I was honored to induct you and to speak.
Yes, you were. Yes,
I'm
you were.
honored to be able to say that. Okay. You got a new book, and this is a tremendous book, and it is a unique book. It's a parable, and it gives great lessons. It's an intriguing title. What inspired the idea of combining a bank robbery with lessons about money and wealth building?
Yeah, so we know that people learn best through stories and remember things better through stories. So that's why I wanted this to be a parable book. There's a lot of great parable books out there. There's some of the good ones, the Go-Giver series by Bob Berg and John David Mann, The Alchemist, The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, Who Moved My Cheese. Most parable books are kind of predictable. They're kind of light. It's okay. You kind of know what's coming. That's all right. Sometimes we'll watch a movie or TV shows knowing what's going to happen. We just want to know how they get there. But I wanted something a little different. So I decided, let's make this a bank robbery. I mean, that's money. So it's a money setting. And the first line of the parable is everybody face down on the floor, right? These guys are coming in to rob the bank. They think they're going to do a smash and grab and get out really fast, but they get stuck. They get caught. And so the rest of the book is them figuring out how they're going to get out of this predicament. Yes, there's suspense and tension, but there's also a lot of comic relief.
Right.
Some of the characters, in fact, the main character, Alden Beckett, who's kind of narrating some of the story, early on labels these 3 bank robbers as Moe, Larry, and Curly, like the 3 Stooges, right? So, right. But then they're gathered in the vault and they're starting to talk about money and why are they robbing the bank? And well, they just wanted to get theirs. And so they start examining the limiting beliefs, and that's the hidden heist. The title, The Hidden Heist, are our limiting beliefs, mistaken assumptions, lack of knowledge about how money really works, and that's what robs our future self of financial dignity and stability and wealth. And so they're gathered in the vault and they're getting these lessons. So there's this teaching going on in the midst of a story. So it's back and forth, little teaching, little story. There's some twists at the end. I had some
good twists, quite good twists.
Yeah, thank you. And I got to give all credit to Jeff C. West, my co-author on this one. I'm the straightforward author guy. I mean, like you, I've written a lot of how-to books, right? How to do this. I explain how things work and what to do. Jeff's the storyteller. Jeff's the guy who brought the characters to life through the story. And together, I think we put together a pretty interesting story and with good teachings. And I'll give you one line that he came up with that I really like. We talked about some of the stereotypes around people with money. Some people say people with money are greedy and they cheat and they lie and they're ruthless or the flip of that. Poor people are lazy and don't care and so Jeff came up with this line, which I am now using in my life in general, which is essentially some are, most aren't. Some do, most don't, right? So stereotypes are built on some nugget of truth, right? There's usually something that happened that gives rise to the stereotype, but again, it's the generalization. It's not the truth. So we tackle that a little bit. And the goal of the book is to help the reader shed a little more light on their own money story, how it may or may not be serving them. What is your self-talk around money and how it may or may not be serving you? We give a few basics around money. I'm an advocate for hiring a financial advisor. So the book is not being written by a financial advisor per se, but we give some of the essence there. And then a lot of folks are giving the book as a gift to their younger adults. One financial advisor just bought 75 copies to give to his clients. And then my personal trainer, my fitness guy, bought 3 to give to his adult children for Christmas.
Right.
So I share the wealth, give the gift of wealthy mindset to other people. So that's the essence around the book. We can dig in deeper, but
I just love the essence of it, because you said something there I want to make sure that we say more about, that many people have their own money stories, and these stories are formed usually in our childhood by the conditioning or the concepts or the lessons or the messages we hear from either our parents, our teachers, or our preachers.
Yep.
And so that has a big impact, doesn't it?
Well, it does. In fact, many psychologists believe that our relationship with money begins to actually solidify around age 7 or 8, pretty young. So yeah, we absorb the messages, conscious, unconscious behavior, words from our parents, and then society and social media pile on with all this nonsense. The problem is, unfortunately, most of those messages are limiting. They're often confusing. They're sometimes destructive.
Right.
And how do they show up? Well, what message you get? What did your parents, say? Did they tell you that money's, there's never enough. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Right.
Or what do you think I am, made of money? Right.
Right.
So we get absorb these messages. I've conducted over 100 money story interviews. I've interviewed a lot of people. I interviewed you, you may recall, around, your story and lessons you got growing up. And so one gentleman, for instance, interviewed Michael. His father resented wealthy people. He thought, wealthy people were bad inherently. And so Michael grew up he absorbed this resentment of people were wealthy. And you can't become what you resent.
Right.
Cognitive dissonance kicks in. And so he had to do a lot of work on himself to get past that.
Right.
And so that's just one of the many ways this stuff shows up.
As a man of faith, I remember growing up, the challenge I've had to overcome in my own life and my own thinking, that there was some issue with being wealthy or rich and money and church and our relationship to faith. And there would be some challenges because sometimes people would hop on the smaller points about, it's harder for a person to go through, a rich man to get rich than go through the eye of a needle, a camel to go, or finding a needle in a haystack. All of that had an impact and does have impact on people's mind. So what I write about, and many people know I've got the new wealth book, and it's interesting. Bill and I are friends. We started writing a wealth book, not knowing we were writing a wealth book. We were finished when we both said, "Hey, you got a wealth book? I got a wealth book." I think it was almost divine timing that we both have been able, and we're supporting each other on this, but helping people, my own issues that I had to overcome, and some of my family members who never overcame them. It was so deep-seated. And I say in my book, and by the way, for those who want to know about my book, it's called Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. And you can get it richisgoodwealthyisbetter.com. But in this book, I talk about sometimes people who have been raised in a certain mindset will be like a rubber band around their waist. And every time they think they're going forward, it'll pull them back. It'll just jerking them back. And that's how I was for a long time, until I had to do some work on the fact and doing some real study on the fact that the Bible says that in Deuteronomy that God gives you the power to create wealth, so you can establish his kingdom on the earth, that you can do good with it. And that's when it was released. Look, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with Bill Case. We got a lot to talk about the Hidden Heist. And so stay tuned. And I'm going to give you lessons on how you can grow your wealth. Then he's going to give you lessons on how you can grow your wealth. All right. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is still yet to come. We'll be right back. Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent. You can call on me when you need me. Call me. You can call on me. Call me. You can call on me. Pick up the phone. You can call and call me. Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and support for the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast comes from Truist Bank. When you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. When you become a homeowner, your future starts to feel different. That's power, knowing you could be creating generational wealth to pass down. Truist believes that a path to home ownership exists for you. I hear people say, well, I don't see how I could ever own a home. Truist has programs that could help you buy a home with a lower down payment than you might expect. And their professional guidance helps you build belief that home ownership is within reach. Connect with a Truist teammate to learn about options that are available to you. They will listen to your goals and follow through. Reach them by calling 855-562-1579. Do this for your family and your legacy. That number is 855-562-1579 or visit truist.com/homebuyer. That's truist.com/homebuyer. Certain programs and geographic restrictions may apply. Contact a loan officer for details. Truist Bank is an equal housing lender. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast with my special guest, Hall of Fame speaker, best-selling author, and well as the author of the new book, exciting new book. It's called The Hidden Heist. Stop robbing yourself of lasting wealth. And it is dynamite. There you go. Put it up again, Bill. Let's do it and smile. There you go. All right. The Hidden Heist is going to be a book that you're going to want to get for your family, your friends. You want to get multiple copies. So I'm encouraging you to do that. Also, I'm encouraging everybody to go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com, to my suite of sites. So you can connect with me on one of those sites that has interest to you, whether it's my motivation site for business, motivation site for personal, motivation site for young people, motivation site for children, motivation site for your faith and your inspirational site, your music, how to become a professional speaker. We got a site that is available for so many of you to take your time and go through this Win with Willie and just look around and see what works for you. And you'll be glad you did. My special guest is Bill Cates, and he has a dynamite new book called The Hidden Heist. Stop robbing yourself of lasting wealth. And in this book, Bill has, along with his co-author, they have Jeff West. They've said, and without giving too much away, I want you to tell us about the main character. You kind of briefly mentioned him, Alden Beckett, and what role does he play in helping readers reflect on their own financial mindsets?
Yeah, so the story is kind of told through Alden. I don't want to give too much away because, not knowing and have it revealed slowly is actually part of the story and the adventure of the book.
But he gives great lessons throughout to kind of.
Yeah. So he has a knowingness of two areas that define the book. He has a knowingness of cop procedure. He knows what's going to happen with SWAT. He knows when they're going to come. He has kind of an inside track to how that works, which gets the robbers, especially the main guy, Carl, the not so good guy of the three, a lot of consternation. And he also is a financial advisor. I'll reveal that much. And so he has a lot of knowledge around that. He's actually the bank manager's advisor. And one of the other characters says to the bank manager, wait a second, you're a bank manager. Why do you have an advisor? And he says, well, I thought I knew enough about money. I thought I was aware enough to make all the right decisions, and I was doing pretty well, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And Willie, I know you like to say this, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
Right.
And we all need an outside counsel. And so Alden was the bank manager's outside counsel around money. And so what happens is, they start talking about the money, and Alden starts to just, talk about his thinking, his laws. Now, here's the interesting thing we did with the book is, that we have in a robbery, in a heist, hostages in a vault. Okay, well, they get hungry, right? So you got to bring in pizza.
Right.
So they bring pizza in, and then Alden's starting to talk about it. We give Alden 7 money truths and Alden's laws for financial independence. And the bank manager grabs a Sharpie and he grabs the pizza boxes and he starts writing on the inside cover of the pizza box. And so in the book, we actually have illustrations of the pizza box and all these things written out in the Sharpie.
So let me stop you for a minute here, because I want people to understand there are lessons embedded in the story.
In the story. That's a parable. Right.
It's a parable, but there are lessons that you could take notes. Your children could take notes. It's a great way. And one of the things you talk about, not just in the book, but in general, is about scarcity mindsets and helping.
Yes.
How do you help people? What is a scarcity mindset, and how do we help people get past it?
Well, first of all, I think that from a neurological, the animals that we are as humans, we're born into this world with a scarcity mindset, in the sense of that helps us with our survival. So, that's why, are we going to have enough to eat? Are we going to have warmth? Are we going to have sleep? Are we going to have procreation? Are we going to have all the things that we want as humans? And so there's that built-in scarcity mindset, which as humans, we're constantly battling against. So we're kind of wired that way. Now, we cannot rewire our brains. That wiring is there, but we can overwrite it. We can create new wiring. That's important to know. That's why people often slip into bad habits.
Right.
Because the old wiring never really goes away, and we have to get the new wiring tight enough and strong enough so eventually we don't slip. But in any event, so we're kind of built, born into that. And unfortunately, our society and the messages we get tends to, perpetuate this scarcity mindset. And it's not just about money. It's scarcity around time.
Right.
It's scarcity around wealth. It's scarcity around relationships. Most human beings suffer from this scarcity. And so the first step, of course, is to become aware of it.
Yeah.
And once you become aware of it, then you go, okay, this isn't serving me. What do I do? Well, we want to eventually work our way into an abundance mindset and a gratitude mindset. Not easy to rewire, or I should say overwrite the brain. And it starts with knowledge and awareness. So for myself, what happened, and this is true for a lot of people, when you learn how money really works, which was what happened to me working in financial services for 34 years and plus, when you learn how money really works, that's quite often when you learn about the bad parts of the non-functional parts of your money story. You go, oh, no one taught me about compounding. No one taught me about, the market has, you can't time the market, and no one taught me about this and that. So when you learn about it, then you become aware, and now you're in a place where you can make a change.
So let's go right there. You one of the things you talk about in the book and in your life, you and I've had personal relationship where we could talk about money, and that's one of the things that has been part of our friendship. Is we talk openly about money. You have said that there's a great quote: "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." Right. And you've talked about that in the fact that many people don't understand the power of compound. In fact, you talk a little bit about Warren Buffett and the fact that he has some interesting concepts about compound interest and the importance of time in the market. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. So the thing is not timing the market, it's time in the market, which is where the compounding in my TED Talk that I did recently,
Well, let's stop there for a second. I'll come back to the TED Talk. I'll come back to Warren Buffett. Talk a moment about the fact that you recently did a TED Talk that is based on the book. And I can tell people it's very interesting. I saw him in this preparation. He opens up an attaché case full of $1 million.
Yep. And some of it's real. And some of it's real. Not all of it. Some of it's real. To look good on the camera. Gosh, where to start? So there's a lot going on there. What happened for the TED Talk is because the book, The Hidden Heist, came out, and this is my legacy work. This is beyond the normal business that I usually do. And this is to get that message out there to help people make more educated financial decisions that are in their best interest and to live. I want to help people live a life of financial dignity, financial stability, and eventually perhaps lasting wealth for generations. And I know generational wealth is a big thing for you. So
that's right.
First, we got to get the financial dignity and stability, and then we can work our way into real, wealth creation and generational wealth. So that's my mission. That's what I'm trying to do. And then when this opportunity for a TEDx talk came along, I go, okay, I think I got a message now. I didn't have that before. And so I thought it'd be kind of a nice 1-2 punch of having the book and then have a TED Talk based on. Now, I can't promote the book in the TED Talk, but in the TED Talk, I use the book's title. I say these limiting beliefs, mistaken assumptions are a hidden heist that's robbing your future self. So I can kind of talk about that a little bit. But and I've done a lot of research, and I've seen the way this hidden heist, if you will, shows up in people's lives.
Right.
65% of Americans say that money is their top source of stress. 66% of employees report that financial stress affects performance and relationships on the job. Another stat I saw that financial worry causes a 20% employee productivity loss at work. Financial stress, right? Financial worry. The average American says they can't handle over 50%. So they can't handle a $1,000 car repair without selling something or borrowing the money. 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even those earning over $100,000 a year, leaving no cushion for saving for emergencies. So these are the results of this hidden heist, of this bad thinking and poor education in the family and in our schools. It's not, money isn't, how money works isn't being taught very much. It's changing a little, it's getting better, but it's still not very good. And so then that's the results, is we live in this land of plenty. We live in actually a world where there's enough resources for everybody. But if we just want to stay in the United States, which is the wealthiest country in the world, there's a lot of financial suffering going on here. And it's a disconnect. One of the reframes and one of the ways of thinking, like in my TED Talk, I said, on one way you could say money is scarce. And then to reframe that in my talk, I had a little fun with this. You'll appreciate this in a second. I said, money is an abundant resource and flows like a river, and I'm jumping into the currency.
Yes. Oh, currency. And I like that. And you talk about money. There's a flow of money. You want to get in the flow.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's a little bit of inside joke because the word currency, the root of the word is Old English, curren, which means flows like a river.
Right.
So currency is a flow. And yes, we want to get into the flow, and money flows not just nationally, it flows internationally. Right? People put money in the bank, and then
there's no shortage of money.
There's no shortage of money. There's plenty of money for everybody. Some of it's structural. Look, there are structural things in place. There are greedy people in place. There are things that make it harder. And there's also some things that we can do individually to take it upon ourselves.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. We'll be right back after station identification. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store, get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show and on this podcast. You can hear the show here on this network on Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern, and then it replays on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern time on this network. And then you can get it 24/7 on the podcast, on all the podcast platforms. Before we go back into this interview with Bill Cates, I want to take a moment to share a little more about our friends at Truist Bank. You know, Truist has been a great partner for many years. They have been part not just of this podcast, but also of my life personally, because we share a lot of the same values. We both believe in the power of purpose and positivity, and that when you know more, you can grow more. Truist doesn't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. They serve their communities and clients with knowledge and care every step of the way. And that, my friends, helps unlock incredible potential, because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. See what knowledge and care can do for you at truist.com/unstoppable. Truist.com/unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. My special guest today is Bill Cates. He has a new book that is an incredible resource. It's a parable. It's a great story, but it is just packed with great insights to help you with your financial education, your financial literacy, and your wealth creation. Bill, before we go any further, get back into where you were on that conversation, I want you to tell people where they can buy this book right now, and they should get multiple copies. Where should they buy it?
Yeah, give the gift of wealth to others, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just go to thehiddenheist.com, thehiddenheist.com. We have a 1-minute video trailer there. It's kind of fun, kind of cool, fun to watch. The book is also available on audio, and at thehiddenheist.com, we have chapter 1 of the book on audio. Because it's a parable book, I mean, you and I have read our own regular books, but this is a story, so it's got characters. So we actually hired a professional book actor, and if you've ever listened to a fiction book on audio, then you know what I'm talking about, who brought the book to life.
Yes.
Jonathan McLean. So we have him reading chapter 1 at thehiddenheist.com, and then from there you can go to Amazon and pick up the book. Also, if you get the book, you get access to the vault. And so, because we didn't want the book to be too big and we want it to be easy to read and consume, we have a lot of other resources that are in the vault that you can register for. One you can get right now. We've actually taken it out of the vault and made it available to everybody. And if you just go to theordinarymillionaire.com, theordinarymillionaire.com, you can get that guide that's, escaped from the vault, if you will. So yeah, we were talking about the flow of money. And
yes.
So, all right. So how do you get in the flow? Right.
Yes.
So here's a principle to think about. For myself, I've gotten into the flow by helping others make more money. So one way to get in the flow of making money is to help others make more money. But there's a fundamental principle at hand, and that is money follows value.
Yes.
Right? Money follows value. So now, if you're a small business owner, if you're a salesperson, if you're engaged in some sort of revenue generating, then obviously that's a pretty obvious path. Right. How do you bring more value to your customer, to your client, to your prospects, so they see the value and they want to do business with you, and then you make more money. Right. And the more valuable you are perceived by them, the more you make money. Well, what if you're not an entrepreneur, a small business owner, right? The principle is still the same. Money follows value. And so how do you make yourself more valuable? See, every employee, I believe, for any company should see themselves as the owner of their own business within that company.
Right.
And how do they bring more value to that company? Now, look, there are some situations where you're just in the wrong company, or you're in a position where someone who brings the value that you bring just will never make the kind of money that you want to make. And so sometimes you have to learn a new skill. You have to increase your education, your skill level in some area to then be able to bring more value to maybe a new employer. So money follows value. Right. But there are plenty of examples of people making very ordinary incomes who create wealth. That's the power of compounding. Right. Who create, $1 million, $2 million over time. And through knowing how money works. But the principle to get into the flow is understand that money follows value. How do you bring more value, or how do you find a place where your value is more appreciated? And just understanding that principle will put you into the flow of the ability to make more money, as long as some of your other thinking is right. Because if you, for instance, resent people with money, Michael, one of the guys I interviewed for the book, his father resented people with money. Well, you can't become someone you resent. And so if you got that going on, you got that hidden heist going on. So it's complicated.
Interesting. You brought that up, because that's one of my next questions, is that the hidden heist is interesting how you talk about it, because you talk about stop robbing yourself of lasting wealth, and some of the things that people are doing unintentionally to rob themselves financially. One of the things you often talk about, and we've talked about it, is that they will do things now that will rob themselves of their future wealth. They will spend up to their limit of what they bring in and not putting anything away. And I love one of the quotes you often will tell people is that rich people, wealthy people plan for 3 generations, poor people plan for Saturday night. So
well, that one I learned from you, Willie.
Yes.
And people are going to get that one in your book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. But you're right. It's a lot of it's the way you're thinking and the way you perceive money, and having the patience. So, Warren Buffett talks about that you should spend after you save. You spend what's left after saving versus saving what's left after spending.
Right.
Right. So when you pay yourself first, it could be in your 401k, it could be pre-tax dollars, it could be post-tax dollars. Both saving in both areas have value. And some people think, well, I got to pay off all my debt first before I can save anything. Well, that's mistaken thinking, depending on the debt. Now, if it's super duper high interest rate debt, if it's credit card debt, but even then, you still want to start putting a little bit of money away for saving, even if you're in the midst of paying off some tough debt, because otherwise you'll never get started and you'll never get it working for you. And it's time in the market. It's the time. Time is your best friend when it comes to saving. So can I give you a really quick example? It's a lesson that we all should have been taught when we turned 18.
Okay.
Right? So it's from my TED Talk, by the way. So I'm channeling my TED Talk right now. All right. So you graduate high school, your parents give you a brand new crisp $100 bill. Wow. That's cool. Right. But instead of running out and spending the $100, you decide to invest it in a low cost, simple S&P 500 fund. And then with a little bit of discipline, you manage to contribute a mere $50 a month ongoing. And when you turn 65, from 18 to 65, you're going to have $1,247,932.62. So let that sink in a minute. That's the power of time in the market. That's the power of compounded interest. Albert Einstein is often quoted, as you said, as compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. There's actually no evidence he really said it, but I'm going with it because it's the principles there.
Right.
So you got to make your attention to compounding is something you can start today and then keep it going. So make your saving and investing, number one, automatic, right? Have it automatically withdrawn, have it automatically moved to another account, and then consistent. And that's a key. You got to make it consistent and not try to time the market, just the market.
And that takes discipline, which is something I talk about. And Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. The importance of discipline.
And the stock market, by the way, using the counsel of a good advisor is like someone walking up a staircase with a yo-yo. It's going up and down, up and down, up and down, but it's over time, it has always gone up. And that's the time element. Over time,
I love that analogy. Using the process of time and good advice is like going up a
staircase with a yo-yo.
With a yo-yo, the yo-yo will go up and down, but each time it going up and down is going up higher and higher, which is something we must realize. In 1929, there was a stock market crash. People panicked. Some blew out their brains. Some jumped off of bridges, not realizing the market would come back bigger and better than ever. It has had ups and downs, but if you'd stayed in the market in 1929, even with the losses, and just stayed, held your position. Real quick, made me think of this is in 1987, there was a stock market correction, a pretty big one, significant one. I had just gotten the inheritance from my grandmother after she had died. And it was significant. It was about $30,000. For me at that point, it was significant. And I did not know anything about investing. And I took a course. I audited a course at American University on investing. And I had just put the money in the market maybe 30 days earlier. And then the market drops. I'm freaking out. Okay. I'm freaking out. And I called the professor. I said, the market is dropped. I'm losing my money. He said, don't do anything.
Right.
Just leave it there. Don't panic. It will come back. Don't panic. Do not sell. Do not get out. Stay there. And I'm so glad. I wish, I thought about the other day. I wish I could find that man's name and number so I could call him and send him this book and say, look what your advice helped me to do. Because that money eventually was down payment on our first home.
Well, it's people ask what runs the market. My brother-in-law, asked me, I said, well, it's fear and greed mostly, but it's mostly fear. And neuroscientists have been able to prove that the emotional response to a loss is twice that as the emotional response to a gain. And so let me give you an example from my own life. My brother-in-law who lived with us for several years as he was dying.
Right.
When COVID hit, and the market crashed in March and was down for a couple of months. He called me up. He says, Bill, I'm going to cash. I said, no, no, George, please do not go to cash. It will bounce back. It may take a while. It may come quick. We don't know, but don't. And he says, okay. Well, he went to cash. And so I'm going to give you hypothetical numbers here, but let's say he had $1 million. It went down to about 500,000. The day he died, had he stayed in, he would have left $1.5 million.
Wow.
to my wife. So
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. This is so good. That's a great place to take a break because it's so profound how you must be patient and don't panic. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And for sure, your best is still yet to come. We'll be right back.
Motivated, highly motivated, motivated, gonna take it to the top. Motivated, highly motivated, motivated, I'm never gonna stop. I had a job I really hated. It made me sick, but it got me motivated. I knew that this was not where I was meant to be. I didn't want to stay, but I was too afraid to leave. Then one day I got my check, there was almost nothing there. I went to the cross, he laughed and said he didn't care. My kids were at home hungry, I was about to...
Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, here to thank Truist Bank for their sponsorship of the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast. Now, if you're a longtime Wealthy Ways listener, you know I believe that mindset is the key to success, and so does Truist. That's why they've created their incredible resource, Money and Mindset. It's full of tips to help you with your finances and help you with your well-being. You can get articles, quizzes, calculators, and hey, even more podcast information that will bless you, all for free and for anyone to use. Check it out today at truist.com/money and mindset. Truist.com/money and mindset. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care, and Truist Bank is a member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast with my special guest, Hall of Fame speaker, best-selling author, as well as financial industry icon. He's an icon in the financial industry.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Well, that's true. When I tell people, when I speak for financial service organizations, hey, my friend is Bill Gates. Oh man, we got his program as part of our training program for our agents. So your programs are well embedded in the financial industry. Okay, you were talking about your brother-in-law and the lessons learned, as well as I want you to talk a little bit about the importance of delayed gratification.
Well, yeah, I mean, it all comes down to that. That's what gives you the patience is knowing that someday you're going to want to maybe not work quite so hard. You may not be able to work quite so hard and earn the income that you're earning now, or you hope to earn. And so whether you call it retirement or refinement, or somebody said, I'm never going to retire. Well, okay, I get it, it's fine, but there's going to come a time where you want the financial freedom, you want independence, where you're not governed by making the buck, right? Everybody wants to get to a place where your life isn't dependent upon making the buck. By the way, before my TED Talk, I did a little research on, I was just thinking, how much do people think about money? And so here, what I learned is the average American adult thinks about money 4 hours a day, every day. And sometimes it's fear-based, limiting-based. Sometimes it's just figuring out what I'm going to do here. But it's pretty prevalent in our lives. It's actually, if you look at the generations, baby boomers tend to think about it less. The millennials and Gen Zs to think about it the most. But nonetheless, we spend a lot of mental energy. I mean, and think about it. Every day, most of our lives, for the most average person, money is a part of it.
That's right.
We're going to work. We're trying to earn it. We're trying to decide what to spend it on, what to invest it on, to buy the car, the house. Can I afford this? The knockoff brand or the regular brand? Whatever.
Right.
So money is just everywhere, and so. Don't we want to get to a place where maybe we don't have to think about it quite so much and worry about? There's financial worry and anxiety. It practically rules this world. And And so therefore we want to get to a place where we're a little free from that. All right.
Well,
So
that leads to my next question.
yeah.
The book explores mindset as much as it does money. Why do you think mindset plays such a powerful role in building or blocking wealth?
Well, because my mindset, and it's a back and forth. It's not, it's like chicken or the egg. It's not, you got to do this first and do that. It's a dance, if you will. At least that's what I found for myself and a lot of people that I interviewed and researched for the book. And so for me, I didn't realize I had a bad mindset until I started learning about how money worked. When I learned how money worked, then I realized I had some weakness in my mindset and say, okay, I need to start telling myself a different story, a healthier story.
Right.
And then I learned how money works a little bit more. And then my story improves a little bit more after that. So some people learn about their story, their mindset, their self-talk by learning about how money works. Some people learn about it by deep introspection. These are the rare individuals who just are constantly working on themselves and very introspective, and they see that something isn't working, so they just go to their mindset. But most people understand their mindset isn't as strong and healthy as it could be by learning how money works. So I always like to say is first, and my call to action in my TED Talk was learn how money really works so you can make it work really hard for you. And then become more aware of your mindset, your story, your self-talk, how it serves you and doesn't serve you, so that you can start to write a new, better, healthier, more abundant mindset. So for most people, it's going to start with education and then realizing maybe what their parents taught them.
Right.
Timothy is misquoted. Money is the root of all evil. No, the love of money is the root of all evil. And I think my interpretation of that, to go a step further, if I will, not being the biblical scholar like you are, is it's not even the love of money. It's the attachment to money. It's the belief that money will bring you love. It's a belief that money will create the self-esteem that you want, the happiness, the peace that you want. See, my broken money story was this, or part of it. I made the mistaken belief that my net worth would determine my self-worth. And so I made money decisions designed to prove to others that I was successful. Now, do I like a nice house with high ceilings and a lot of windows, which I have? Yeah. Do I like driving a nice car? Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with wanting those things. There's nothing wrong with creature comforts. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, unless it's coming from the wrong place, which partially, it wasn't totally, but partially was coming from that, prove to others that I was successful. Well, there's a booby prize there. Right. Because then I'm always going to want the bigger house, and I'm always going to want the fancier car because my self-esteem is tied to that. Right. Now, where does that come from? That comes from where you started this conversation with that deep-seated scarcity mindset. Right. That a lot of us have and are battling against. And once we know it's there and we're working on it, then we can start to rewrite write the new story. So
and then, let me tell you, folks, the book, The Hidden Heist, will help you rewrite your money story. That's why I want everybody to go get it. The Hidden Heist will help you rewrite the way you think about money, your personal money story, and then give you these lessons throughout the book on your process to grow your wealth. It's a terrific parable. It's fun to read. It's intriguing and it's entertaining. Where can they get it again, Bill? Where can they get this book?
Yeah, certainly Amazon and Barnes and Noble. The online outlets have The Hidden Heist. If you want to learn a touch more and just see the fun video that we have around it, maybe listen to the audio, chapter 1. Go to thehiddenheist.com, thehiddenheist.com, and then also theordinarymillionaire.com. Theordinarymillionaire.com is a guide that's excerpted from the vault of The Hidden Heist, and you can learn a little more by that way. So some you're going to want to run out and just get it. Some you're going to want to learn a little more. You got a little bit for everybody.
Okay. I do this in every interview.
Sure.
Bill, if you were, we were hanging out, we went out into lunch, and then we just went over to a university, one near you over in your part of the world, or one over here in this part of the world. And we went to a business class of young entrepreneurs, wannabe business people. They got a desire. Give them a few you gotta. If you're going to be successful in business and life, here's some things you got to do.
Well, I have to start with, you have to understand your money story and your beliefs around money, because if you don't, then you could be hindering your ability to create that success. Now, with that said, there are a lot of people that are pretty successful. I've met multimillionaires who have broken money stories. They have constant worry around money, even though they have a lot of it. They even have shame. That's a big thing. But with that said, so I'm not saying you can't become wealthy with a broken money story. You actually can. It's just not a very happy wealthy,
right?
Unfortunately. So that's one thing. The whole idea of money follows value, is a principle that I've lived with for my own business. And gosh, I've written a lot of books on referrals and how to get, and word of mouth, and how to get people talking about your business.
Right. So
one of the principles is you have to become referable. You have to become remarkable, worthy of remark. So every business owner, anybody who sells a product, a service, has a business, you should be getting unsolicited referrals, unsolicited word of mouth, unsolicited introductions. That is evidence, a barometer that your business is referable, is worthy of remark. And so if you're not getting that, if it's a constant prospecting and just a grind to get business, then there's something missing. From what you're delivering, you're not delivering that remarkable value, that worthy of remark value. And so, we can promote the heck out of our books. We can promote the heck out of our TED Talks. We can promote the heck out of everything. But sooner or later, the product, the service, the message has to start doing the work for itself. That's how you go from incremental to exponential.
Wow.
I love having an incredible product, service that people will talk about without you even having to prompt them to do it. That's
the secret. That's why Bill Cates is the best of the best. Thank you for being with me today, Bill.
Yeah, my pleasure, Willie. Thank you. You're my brother from another mother.
That's for sure.
We love hanging out. Thank you.
That's right. The Hidden Heist, folks. Go get it today. The Hidden Heist. It will change your life. Also, go to get Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. Get both books. Both books. And you can get Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better at richisgoodwealthyisbetter.com. You'll get the autographed. We're only selling at this point the autographed collector's edition, so we can make sure you get those first, the first edition. Then it'll go out to all of the outlets and later in the year. Also, I want to thank Truist Bank again. Go to truist.com/unstoppable. Truist.com/unstoppable. When you start with care, you really do build a different kind of bank. I highly recommend you check them out. And their money and mindset segment on their website. It's a free access place on their site that anybody can go to. Then I want you to join us every Monday night for the Jolly Marriage Show, where Dee and I been married 40 years, haven't had an argument in 38 years, give tips on what we do. You can go to jollymarriage.com to see our TED Talk, how to never, ever argue again in life, and then get some of the resources to help you. Monday nights, 9:00 on A Jolly Marriage on Facebook, The Real Willie Jolley on Instagram, Willie Jolley on LinkedIn Live, and you can see all the replays on the Jolly Marriage Show on YouTube. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and for sure, your best is still yet to come. Have a great day, and God bless you.
And everybody's right sometimes, some rain's gonna fall. And everybody's house sometime, trouble will call. But when trouble stops by, you can sit there and cry, or you can make up your mind. You're gonna stand up and fight. Hey, people, listen closely to the sound of my voice. Success in life is never due to chance but to choice.
hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire, williejolly.com/billionaire, or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.